Hello everybody, Jason up New Age Revolution Cave. And we are here with another episode of Wrestling with the Past, a much anticipated episode of Wrestling with the Past. We've got our first house show since WrestleMania, I do declare. And I was looking very forward to this house show. For two reasons. Before I even saw the house show or, heard some of the matches that were on the card, I knew that I was hoping that I would see a good British Bulldogs match. And I also knew that Hogan and Muraco had to be coming soon. And I predicted correctly on both of these. So let's get right into it. It's April 22nd, 1985, Madison Square Garden. This was taped from TV. I don't remember if it didn't have commercials. There were no commercials. Maybe a 30-second clip of a commercial before somebody, cut it off. But April 22nd, 1985, Mean Gene and Gorilla Monsoon welcome us to the show. And here we go. We start things off with Barry O. He takes on the Cobra. So this is a Japanese wrestler named the Cobra. He's under a mask. And he's quite famous for the Madison Square Garden Cobra versus Black Tiger match in 1984 that was on our Coliseum home videos. And just, we saw the clip of it during the opening of the Coliseum home videos all the time. And it was really a match that, was a cruiserweight match before there were cruiserweight matches. Years before there were cruiserweight matches. Every once in a while, the Cobra shows up at Madison Square Garden. And when he does this, he usually brings another Japanese wrestler with him. So you usually don't get two, or you usually don't just get one Japanese wrestler on a Madison Square Garden card. You don't really see these guys in Philly. You don't see them in Boston. You don't see them on TV. So I don't know what the deal was back then. I know Hogan was going to Japan a lot during this era, more in '84, but WWF and IWGP maybe had a good working agreement. Mean Gene immediately points out all the Japanese photographers in attendance tonight as they're getting a good look at the Cobra. The match settles out eventually. It's a lot of early aggression from Barry O, early mat work from the Cobra. It's really a long match. This is about a 15 to 17 minute match, it seems. And this is the opener. Barry O is the aggressor in this match. Usually he's got about 80% of the offense in this match with Cobra. With Cobra's comebacks, with some high flying moves, some flippy moves, but only to be taken back down by Barry O. Barry O certainly the aggressor in this matchup. I thought that it was going to be over around the 12-minute mark when the Cobra goes up to the second rope and hits a knee drop on Barry O, and it looked like he was going to do a front flip. He got ready to do a front flip, and then maybe thought against it, and then just did a knee drop. That only got a 2 count. Like I said, this goes pretty close to 20 minutes. Cobra ends up winning with a head scissors into a roll-up kind of deal. Not quite a Hurricane Rana yet, but the head scissors and then the tuck under, and Barry O goes over. Cobra holds the legs for the 3 count. Probably the best match on the card. Probably the best match on the card, and it's Barry O versus the Cobra. Wow, those kids are going nuts. Dogs going nuts. The weekend is beginning. It's Liam's birthday party weekend, which means it's a sleepover tomorrow night, but some of the kids are here now. Not to stay, but they're having like a pre-sleepover get-together where they're planning out what they're going to do tomorrow. So I will definitely be down here most of the night. As predicted, we've got another Japanese wrestler. We've got Matt Bourne, and he's taking on Tatsumi Fujinami. We have seen Antonio Inoki in the past in the Madison Square Garden. Now we've got Tatsumi Fujinami. And I would think that this would be a great match also. I love Matt Bourne, and Fujinami is just a decent wrestler. Honestly, it's not. It's another long match of rest holds, head scissors, side headlocks, and that's pretty much the offense for both guys. It's kind of a slow, boring match. Back and forth offense. Matt Bourne, again, maybe with 60%, 65, 70% of the offense as with the heel tactics, the bad guy stuff. But even after he gets the heel tactics, even after he gets the cheat or the stomp or the eye rake, he goes back down into a headlock or reverse chin lock or whatever. So it's just a really, really boring, slow match. It goes about 10 or 11 minutes of Matt wrestling. They're up. Matt Bourne goes for a right hand. Tatsumi Fujinami ducks and grabs the German suplex for the bridge and the 3 count. Not that great. Next up, we've got, and I get excited about these kinds of matches because I think it could have been a much better match than it was. I think I was talking about, I think Swede Hansen fought somebody a couple Madison Square Garden shows ago, and I thought who did he fight? Moondog Spot, I think. I don't know. And I thought that could have been a great brawl. This week, this month, whatever, we've got Swede Hansen against King Kong Bundy. Now, I like this one. This one comes on my TV. I see the graphics, Swede Hansen versus King Kong Bundy, and I'm excited because this could be good. After a little bit of a stare down, we get a lockup. It's just 2 big guys kind of posturing, before the lockup, getting ready to go. And it's Bundy's biggest challenge, I guess. This basically turns into 2 men jockeying for position, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. At one point, Gorilla Monsoon talks about how King Kong Bundy beat SD Jones at WrestleMania, and he used the term squash. And I think he said, complete squash. And I was like, a little bit of an early insider term there. A squash match is basically, the good guy or the superstar just, murdering the job guy. And that's a squash. Usually they don't use terms like that. I've also heard Gorilla Monsoon say bump at one point, which not in this card, but previously. Little things I notice. 2 guys trying to push each other around, forearm smashes here and there. Bundy hits the forearm smash. Swede Hansen shakes it off, gives Bundy one of his own. He goes, whoa, and kind of oversells it a little bit. Swede does get some offense, of course. And it's really the most offense that anybody's got on King Kong Bundy. But it only goes about 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes. And we get a Swede whipping Bundy into the turnbuckle. Bundy reverses it, of course, hits the avalanche. And then the elbow drop for the pin. No 5 count on Swede Hansen. 6.5 minutes, no big deal. We've got a match that I'm looking very much forward to. We got the British Bulldogs taking on Rene Goulet and Johnny Rodz. Pretty great from the start. Both, first of all, Rodz and Goulet are fantastic. We've got a lot of early Bulldogs with the bad guys getting some runs of offense. We get a much longer Bulldog match. This is a longer match, so you get to see a lot of the fast-paced Bulldog moves that you see on TV, but then we got to slow things down a bit. So far, this card, with the exception of, Swede Hansen versus Bundy, we're getting a lot of rest holds. We're getting a lot of chin locks. We're getting a lot of arm bars, a lot of working of body parts, because the Bulldogs cannot do a TV match at an MSG show. It would just be, overload. But we do get a faster-paced Bulldog offense. Gilberto Roman is the referee, and it seems like Gorilla Monsoon legitimately hates him. Now, I say legitimately because I'm a big dumb mark, but you got to wonder, because Gorilla is always very opinionated about the referees, especially this little Gilberto Roman. I mean, he looks very silly. He looks kind of like Super Mario. He's this short little runty guy, running around the ring. Gorilla never has anything good to say about him. So then I'm sitting there wondering, was it like that backstage? Did the referees, were the referees not part of the crew? Were the referees not treated good? Did they have their own little corner of the dressing room? Was it kind of like high school? Did they get wedgies and stuff back then? From I don't know. Because at one point, Mean Gene says, I'd like to go in the back, and really just pick Gilberto's mind about what he was thinking in this match. And Gorilla goes, well, better you than me, because I honestly think I'd get physical with him. Like, what the heck's going on with I could just see the referees like getting out of there afterwards. They can't shower in the same bathroom. They got to get in the car all together, like huddle in a referee car and drive away. Look, it's a great match. The end comes with a power slam by Davey Boy Smith on Johnny Rodz. Rene Goulet then goes up on so Davey Boy power slams Johnny Rodz. As he gets up, Goulet's running in. Davey Boy gets him up on his shoulders. You know what that means. Dynamite's going up to the top rope. He's jumping off of Goulet's back onto Johnny Rodz for the win. Good match, but again, these longer matches, they bore me a little. They're not the most exciting matches. Next up, we've got Ricky Steamboat versus Moondog Spot. I have yet to see Ricky Steamboat in a competitive match. I suppose this one will be better. It is. Gorilla. I love how Gorilla and Mean Gene always complain when Moondog Spot hangs the bone in their corner. Moondog Spot comes to the ring with this massive looking, dinosaur bone with a string attached to it, and he just carries it around and gnaws on it. Well, before the match, he hangs it in the corner, and it's always near the ring side, the ring and the commentators. And Gorilla and Mean Gene always go, oh, look at that. He's hanging that bone right there, right above us. And Gene's always like, oh, I can smell it from here. Love that stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Look, I know Ricky Steamboat's one of the best wrestlers ever, but his matches are very predictable. Very predictable matches. You're getting a lot of leapfrogs. You're getting a lot of arm drags. You're getting the over-exaggerated chops. Until it gets going. That's usually his start to the matches. But again, Ricky Steamboat, I think he loves to sell. I think he loves to get beat up. And Moondog Spot beats him up in this match. And Ricky Steamboat has great facials and just great pain. And he's arching his back when he's hurt. Love it. He looks great. And then he'll come back with the chops and the some of the Steamboat offense. Spotty gets to control most of this match. Pretty heavy-handed offense from Spot, and Steamboat just sells his butt off. And at one point, we've got, the end. We've got Steamboat with, the chop, the aggressive, over acted out chop, and down goes Spotty. And as soon as that happens, Steamboat goes up to the top rope for the high cross body and the pin. We've got the win by Ricky Steamboat. Much anticipated Hulk Hogan versus Don Muraco match is up next. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though it's quite a strange match. It's strange because Hulk Hogan is wrestling his Japanese style. If you ever go back and watch Hulk Hogan in Japan, he suddenly looks like a wrestler. He suddenly looks like he knows how to wrestle. He does a lot of chain wrestling. He does a lot of mat work. He does a lot of arm work. That's Hulk Hogan in Japan. And we get Hulk Hogan versus Don Muraco. We get Japanese Hulk Hogan. Maybe because Fujinami's there. Maybe because the Cobra's there. Maybe because the Japanese photographers are there. I'm not sure. But we have a very strange Hulk Hogan match. It's a lot of mat work and a lot of front face locks and a lot of arm drags and hip tosses. In fact, Hogan actually does like the leg trip where where you like, you wrap your legs around the guy's legs and he falls forward and then you go in and you get like a front face lock. He did that. He's working a leg, he's working the arm. Eventually it settled into an actual Hulk Hogan match with Don Muraco getting some offense. Back and forth Hulk Hogan stuff, hulking up at one point, of course. He actually gets out of the Don Muraco tombstone. Muraco actually gets him up, which is quite a sight because Muraco's a little shorter. Hogan's, 6'4". He gets him up and he flips him around and Hogan is just like huge. And he's got him. He's ready to do the front, the reverse pile driver. Hogan claps his legs together over the head of Muraco, and that breaks up the hold, right? So I love that. Muraco's like, oh, like he just got annihilated. Hogan gets out of it. We get a Hulk up eventually. We get the 3 punches, but then Muraco goes out of the ring. So we're not getting the big boot. We're not getting the classic Hogan finish. Hogan goes outside the ring, and we've got a little brawl on the outside of the ring. And Hogan goes down after, I don't know, rammed into the steel post or something. And Muraco rolls in before the 10 count. He wins. Hogan is counted out. Hogan loses the match to Don Muraco via countout. And then, of course, comes back in, cleans house, and poses. Of course. We have to have that, don't we? Mike Rotundo versus the Iron Sheik is next. I'm actually looking very forward to this one. As with a lot of Sheik matches, he attacks Rotundo before the bell. Rotundo fights back, and he's beating up Iron Sheik while Sheik still has his garb on, his robe, his head wrap. And what always happens with this? Rotundo whips Sheik into the ropes, does the back body drop, the robe and the head things start to come off. Rotundo grabs the headscarf, whips Sheik into the ropes, and clotheslines him with the headscarf. So always, I love it. It's just, you see it all the time with Iron Sheik match. This was a great match. These are 2 fantastic wrestlers, and they just go at it. They just wrestle, they fight, they wrestle, they fight. It's great. Equal offense between both. They both get the award for sweatiest wrestlers. Iron Sheik and Mike Rotundo are 2 of the world's sweatiest humans, and within 37 seconds in this match, they are both glistening with sweat. They are soaked, which I think makes it look cooler. I just think it makes it look like a good match when they're sweating. Extremely fantastic match. Sheik does some dastardly things by getting Rotundo outside the ring and slamming his head into the announcer's table. And, Captain Lou and Freddie Blassie are kind of squaring off, around the ring. Sheik hits him with a steel chair outside the ring that does not get a disqualification at all. Abdominal stretch by Iron Sheik at one point, and as you predicted, he did not have it locked in all the way, according to Gorilla Monsoon. So that is officially what was the last count? 2,855th time somebody had an abdominal stretch in and did not have it hooked in properly, which then allows Mike Rotundo to hip toss out of it, of course. Sheik actually goes to the top rope and tries a diving headbutt, which just looks awful because it's just not something he's used to doing. After some fantastic back and forth, Sheik whips Rotundo into the turnbuckle, comes charging in. Rotundo out of the way. Sheik hits his knees on the turnbuckle. Rotundo goes behind him, scoops him up for the schoolboy. He's got the roll up for the 3 count. Great match. The crowd goes nuts with the roll up win. I loved that match. My guess is that the next match is going to be Barry Windham versus Nikolai Volkoff, and it is. I don't know how I feel about, the tag teams being split up and fighting each other on the card. I think it's kind of just like, I don't know. I think it's a cop-out. I would have loved to have seen Sheik and Volkoff versus, U.S. Express. This one, I don't have high expectations for, only because of Nikolai. And it's an okay match. Barry Windham is big. He's tall. So with Nikolai, he doesn't get to do the scientific stuff as much, the good wrestling. So Barry Windham kind of makes himself into a big guy now. So we have Nikolai, the big guy, against Barry Windham, the big guy, and they're just having a big guy match. They're just going back and forth. Nikolai, he's got such an interesting style of selling punches and falling. He's so unique, and I don't know. It's okay. It's an okay match. It's back and forth. We do get the famous Nikolai press slam where he literally is just wedging the heck out of the guy's trunks while he holds onto their neck. So he's just atomic wedging them and choking them to death as he's got this press slam, and he rests them on his head. It's just the most bizarre thing. It looks so painful. You're getting choked. You got your tights, practically wrapped around your intestines. Whatever. They're battling it out in the corner, and all of a sudden Sheik comes in. Iron Sheik just interferes. Barry wasn't even going for a pin or anything. They're just fighting, and Sheik runs in. 10 seconds later, Mike Rotundo is in. He wasn't in the dressing room. He wasn't in the shower. He just happened to be standing, I guess, right by the curtain, sees Sheik run past and says, hey, wait a minute, charges after him. And now we had all 4 men in the ring. Hopefully, we get a return match between the two of them as a tag team next month at Madison Square Garden. Mike Rotundo wins by Barry Windham wins by disqualification due to Sheik's interference. We get Howard Finkel doing a rundown for next month's card, and I usually skip these because I don't want to know, but I didn't skip it this time. The only thing that stands out is Jesse Ventura is on the card. He's taking on Tony Gurria, and Pedro Morales returns to the WWF. Next up, we've got Tito Santana and Junkyard Dog taking on Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. They are not Dream Team yet, and they are still managed by their respected managers, Jimmy Hart and Johnny V. I expect this to be great, and it is. It is such a fun match. I love Junkyard Dog matches. And this got time. This got a lot of time. It was honestly the Dream Team beating the heck out of Tito Santana for most of the match. The match starts off. Tito and Dog are a house of fire. It slows down. Tito is he's getting beat up most of the match with the hot tags to the Dog. Dog does his usual Dog stuff, knocks Valentine and Beefcake around the ring. We got some double teaming. Valentine and Beefcake are outside of the ring, getting consoled by the managers a lot. They come back in. Tito moves. Let's see. We got the classic. Hold the bad guy holds the good guy. Other bad guy partner comes charging in. Good guy moves, hits the bad guy. They fall out of the ring. Oh, I'm sorry. They're touching each other. You okay? You okay? I love that. Bad guys are in control most of the match. Tito takes the most punishment, like I said, while Dog does the whole, we get the fake tag. The referee didn't see it. Dog comes in. He's ready to kill everybody. Gets pushed back out by the ref. Tito's getting beat up again. At one point, all 4 men are in the ring, and I was expecting a double disqualification, but it does not happen. Junkyard Dog headbutts Beefcake out of the ring, while at the same time, Tito hits the flying forearm on Greg and actually gets the pinfall. Tito gets the pinfall on Greg Valentine. The Intercontinental title change is coming soon. What a great match. I love it. Such an LJN match. Again, I felt like coming down here and hooking up the wrestlers and just playing my LJNs, but I didn't. This is where my disc ends. Gorilla and Gene say, all right, we'll be right back right here, Madison Square Garden. And then it ends. And so I was like, is that it? And I looked it up. That was it. That's the card. That's the whole card. Nothing was missing. That's the whole card. So there you go. An exciting house show, a very exciting house show, with some duller, matches. Fujinami versus Bourne was not good. Bulldogs versus Goulet was okay. It was good. I wanted more from that. Barry O and the Cobra was great. Hogan match was great. Good card. Good card. Good card. April 22nd, 1985, Madison Square Garden. We'll be back with the TV shows. Our next Championship Wrestling and All-Star Wrestling. Next up on Wrestling with the Past. That is all. Good night now.